So I look at you as having as an individual that has definitely fulfilled their purpose. So is there anything that you could share to others that are out there, that could help them find their purpose? And maybe it's not going back to work. Maybe there's some other insights you have, but that's what I wanted to ask if you have something to share with our audience on that.
That's a tough one. Okay. Um, First of all, there is a psychologist at Cleveland Clinic who's doing research and probably going to write a book to show that when you've had this life-altering event, whether it's an injury, a chronic disease that keeps you from working, you're more prone to anxiety and depression. And the sooner you get treatment for it, the sooner you can deal with the physical and you recover faster from the physical with some mental health therapy faster too. And she was surprised with her research that she was encouraged to write a book. She was just doing a paper on it because she said it's so obvious. Why do they want a book? But it's going to be turned into a book. Probably be 2 years until it comes out. But um, it's life altering. I've had my life altering. 30 years ago, I had ruptured cerebral aneurysms. I was given less than a 5% chance of surviving the surgery, told I'd probably never work again. 6 weeks later, I was in my office 2 hours a day. 11 months later, I did a jury trial. But then I found out I was having seizures and TIAs, and fatigue was the cause. And at that time, I was getting in my office at 5:30 in the morning, and twice a week, I'd start seeing clients at 6. I was in Washington 3 or 4 times a month, and I was literally killing myself. So I had to learn to change my ways. There's one event that I think about that keeps me going. There's a lot of events that keep me going. My family, what I do for people. But I had created the Volunteer Lawyers for the Homeless in Northern Ohio and had lawyers going to homeless shelters every month. And in 1993, I was at a shelter and there was a lady with 6 little children. They were stepladder kids. And she didn't look like she belonged in the shelter. And my wife said to me, talk to her, something's wrong. So I said to her, what happened? And she said, well, my husband died. He worked in the steel mills for 19 years and he died, and I don't have any money, and my house is being foreclosed on.
Ooh.
And I said to her, well, what about your life insurance from the mill? And she said, what life insurance? And I said, he had a life insurance policy from his job. They owe you money. And I said, and what about his pension? And she said, what pension? And I said, you have a pension coming from his work there. And I gave her the name of the human resource director at the mill, who I knew from my work comp practice. And I said, tell him if he doesn't get you the money in 5 days, I'm going to sue him, which he knew I wouldn't. He was a friend. 4 days later, she got a check for $50,000 for the life insurance. She ended up getting about 60,000 more for the past due pension benefit. I asked her about the Social Security survivor's benefit, and she said, what's that? And I told her that. So she took the life insurance and paid off the mortgage. Between the Social Security and the pension, in the early 90s, she was getting almost $5,000 a month. Moved back into her suburban home, put her kids back in the schools. And about 6 months later, she showed up at my office with her 7-year-old and a tray of cookies for my staff. And the 7-year-old said, Mr. James, I love you. And I said to him, what does I love you mean? And he thought a minute and he said, it means you make my heart smile. And anytime it's a bad day, I think I have to make somebody's heart smile today. And it's something that's kept me going for a long time. I just want to make somebody's heart smile every day because it's a good way to live your life.
Yeah, that's powerful. Good for you. That's an awesome story. Yeah, so I mean, we wish for everybody out there to find your purpose or a way to you know, make your heart smile, right? Um,
Absolutely. It's a good way to live.
It is a great way to live. And you just, if you can't find it, encourage you to keep looking. So that's awesome. I thank you for sharing that.